have my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, Asmadya Parvarata Chanda Guru Pada Padma, Nitya Leela Krishna Om Vishnu Pad, Ashto Tarasata Susimat, Rupanugacari Vaya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Brahma, and I offer my pranam to all the Samud Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. By the process of Srimad Bhagavad, hearing from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 13, entitled Prakriti Purush Vibhag Yoga. Now we've come to text 27. Yavat samjayate kinchit sattvam stavra jangamam ketat ketadya samyoga tadvidi bharatarshava. O best of the Bharatas, know that whatever moving and non-moving beings are born, all are produced by the combination of Ketra and Ketrakya, the field and the knower of the field. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram Vinasyats avinasyantam ya pasyanti sapasyati. Only one who sees the Paramashvara equally in all beings, as the imperishable seated within the perishable, actually sees. One who sees Parameshwara, the Supreme Lord, dwelling equally everywhere in all beings, does not degrade himself by his mind, and thus he attains the supreme destination. One who sees that all activities are performed by Prakriti nature and that the Atma is the non-doer actually sees. Yadha bhuta pitak bhavam ekastam anupasyati tata eva chavistaram brahma sampadyate tata. When he sees that diverse natures of living beings abide only in Prakriti alone and understands them to be all born from the same Prakriti, he attains the realization of Brahma. So Srila Gurudev is explaining, only because a person identifies himself with the body does he see the various forms or bodies of others in a different way, as devatas, as human beings, as dogs, cats, sudras, Hindus, Muslims, and so on. The cause of this mundane differentiation is ignorance, whereby a person falsely identifies himself with the body. Due to this ignorance, one forgets Bhagavan. When remembrance of Bhagavan appears within him, by the influence of the association of Shuddha Vaishnavas, all his ignorance is dispelled and his materialistic ideas of differentiation are removed. At that time, he becomes situated in Brahma which is endowed with 8 qualities. He perceives everything equally at all times, and ultimately he attains Parabhakti. Sometimes in the Shastra, a Jivatma endowed with these 8 special qualities has been called Brahma or Brahma Bhuta. These 8 qualities are Ya Atma Bhata Papma Vijaro Vimrityo Vishoko Vijigitso Papasaha Satya Kama Satya Sankalpa Son Vestavya Sa Vijigyasitavyaha. So this is from Chandogya Upanishad. One should search for and know the Atma, the soul, who has 8 qualities. First of all, who is completely free from miseries arising from desires for the sense objects. The desires for the sense objects are simply the contamination of Rajagun within the physical body and mind. 2. He is completely free, the soul is completely free from the threefold miseries, such as old age. 3rd quality, free from death. 4th, free from lamentation. 5th, free from the independent materialistic enjoying propensity. And 6th, free from mundane ambitions. That Atma is Satyakama. On one hand, he is free from desire, material desire, but he is Satyakama. He actually has many desires. He desires to serve Krishna. And he can also attain whatever he desires. That is called Satya Sankalpa. When the living entity is liberated, then whatever he desires, then Krishna fulfills that. That's Krishna's pastime. To make the words and desires of the devotees true. So this has also been explained in Bhagavad-Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. This verse is chapter 18, text 54. Ultimately, one who is Brahma Bhuta achieves Parabhakti, transcendental bhakti. The Jiva's ultimate objective is to achieve Parabhakti. It is improper to say that Param Brahma achieves Parabhakti, because Parabhakti means to render service to the feet of Parabrahma. So here, the argument is being given that in Gita it says Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. So those who are Advaitavadis, who think that everything is one, think when a person realizes Brahman, that they are not the body, then they are liberated. And then Krishna said, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. Then they attain Parabhakti. So it makes no sense to say someone becomes Brahman and then he attains Parabhakti if he's not this, if that person himself is Parabrahman. Because why will Parabrahman attain Parabhakti? To whom? Who is there who is higher than Parabrahman? And therefore the state of Brahma Bhuta is not the realization that I am Parabrahman. Only that I am Brahma spiritual, and then the Mad Bhaktin Labate Param, the service to Parabrahma can be attained. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Krishna is saying, when a man of true wisdom sees that during the annihilation, all moving and non-moving jivas of various shapes are situated in Prakriti only, and that at the time of the creation, those varieties again manifest from the same Prakriti, he becomes free from the tendency to differentiate between material designations. What does that mean? Let's say again. Krishna is saying here, when a man of true wisdom sees that during annihilation, all moving and non-moving jivas of various shapes are situated in Prakriti only, and that at the time of creation these varieties again manifest from the same Prakriti, he becomes free from the tendency to differentiate between material designations. He then realizes his own spiritual identity and his relationship with Brahma, the Absolute Reality. So, the first realization which comes from chanting Harinam, is when Chaito Darpana Marjana, the mirror of the heart, is being cleansed. Gradually one comes to realize that Atma Tattva, that is the sadarana-sambandha-jnana, general. So that sadarana-sambandha-jnana has been described by Lord Narayan to Lord Brahma in Chatusloki Bhagavatam. In the first 2 verses of the 4 seeds, there are 4 verses from which the entire Srimad Bhagavatam has come. So the first 2 explain Sambandha-jnana, the third one, Prayojan Tattva, and the last one, Abhideya Tattva. So in the first one, Sri Krishna said, Lord Narayan said, Aham meva sameva gre nanyad yad sadasat param staraham niritatja yo viseseta sosmyaham. Before the universe was manifested, with all of its various causes and effects, only I existed. And afterwards, when the universe is dissolved, then only I exist. And in the middle, only I exist. So he's showing that if we see anything which seems to be separate or different from Shri Krishna, then this is called Maya, and that's explained in the next verse. Ritirtam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani. Whatever you see which is separate in vision from me, you should know that this is my Maya. So, here, Krishna is requesting the devotees, think very carefully. Now when you look around the world and you see people, you are saying one is young, one is old, one is black, one is white, one is Hindu, Muslim, and so on. You are saying this. But just come to the time of annihilation, meditate. Just fast forward the universe, and you'll see all the Prakriti, all the causes and effects of the material energy are dissolved. But all the jivas are still there. And they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same. And then, now fast forward again to the next day of Lord Brahma. Oh, this is Atyantik, pralaya, the complete destruction. And to the next Lord Brahma, fast forward then to the next Lord Brahma. Then again, Krishna by his glance, he unleashes all the potencies within Prakriti, and all the varieties manifest again, and all the jivas who are the same again become situated in different bodies. But once you have meditated on the dissolution and the individual existence beyond the variety, then when you press play again and you see the universe, now you see it in a different way, knowing that all the varieties that you're perceiving are arising only from Prakriti. But the Jivatma is same. So Krishna said, Atmopamyena samyena Atmopamyena sarvata samam pasati solitana Sukam vaya vivad dukam sayogi paramam mataha. Hey Arjun, that person who sees all souls to be equal with himself, Atmopamyena, Upama means comparison. So Atmopamyena, by making a comparison to his own self, Sarvatra, everywhere he looks, Samam Pasati, he sees all are just like me. Unless we'll see every jiva is just like me, then it cannot be free from envy. cannot be free from pride. And these are the two qualifications for chanting Harinam. Trinada Pisanitana means to be free from pride. And Manina Manadena means to be free from envy of others. So, if we are walking here and there, say, oh, this devotee is very bad. This one is of this nature and that nature, and thinking, I am better. Then pride is in the heart, envy is there. There's no question of the realization of sadarana-sambandha-jnana. What to speak of the visesa-sambandha-jnana. Very often we see the devotees come and they're very interested in the visesa-sambandha-jnana. They're very interested in this. However, if they neglect the sadarana-sambandha-jnana, then what will happen? Their pursuit of the visesa-sambandha-jnana is all trigunatic, mixed with gunas. Very, very rajasic, tamasic. Then you think that the Yuga Dharma is to make as much noise as possible with the jumpas. I have seen yesterday devotees playing so loud that they are not singing. Lips are not even moving, only making noise. Lips are not even moving. So Yuga Dharma is now Sankirtan. Yuga Dharma is not making noise with clashing steel. So, so this is the kind of bhakti all mixed up with the gunas. Becomes like a chaos, very painful and disturbing for everyone, and all fighting and having a sectarian mood towards each other. At the same time, if a person, they want to rise above this, then even when they see, then they cannot think, I am better, and become pride. You can think, oh, there, but for the grace of God, go on. If it were not for God's grace, I would also be like this. So, with kindness and compassion for everyone, even the living entities, they become your enemy. Don't become their enemy. If you want to have love for Krishna, and Krishna will be very eager to meet with you, when you will treat those who will go against you as if they have done you a great favor. When you treat those who have criticized you as if they have glorified you. So, here Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, take a moment to consider the nature of Prakriti and Purush. How the Prakriti is manifest, unmanifest, and producing all the varieties. But the Purush, the Atma, is, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Spulinga Ridagnya. Just like from a fire, many sparks emanate. So in the same way, Krishna is like a fire from which sparks are emanating. There are every jiva. Every jiva is like a spark emanating from the fire of Sri Krishna. If one will have that vision, then they will not degrade themselves, go down into the duality of quarrel and hypocrisy and rivalry and all of these qualities. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, now Krishna is saying, and now I will explain how the jiva, having acquired this knowledge of the, not oneness, but the qualitative oneness of the living entities, how he perceives Paramatma, who is present as the witness. Krishna said, Anaditvam nigunatat paramatmayam abjaya Shirastopi konteya na karoti na lipyate. O Konteya, because he is without beginning, he is anadi. And because he is nirgun, free from the three modes of nature. Avyaya, this imperishable Paramatma, although he is situated in the body, he neither performs any karma and nor becomes entangled in the results of karma. Did everyone do their paran and break fast? Yes? Has everyone broke fast? Because the breakfast time is 9:27, so if you don't do it by now, then you will not get the result of the karma. So, here Sri Krishna describes that the devotee should be aware of that God, Paramatma, is present in the heart of every living being. Should be conscious of this. And how should he see him? That Paramatma is anadi, without beginning. He is nirgun, completely untouched by the material energy. And he's a witness. Upadrasta anumanta. He's watching and he's permitting everything to go on. But he himself is not doing karma, entangled in results of karma. This is breakfast. This is not the breakfast club. So, Srila Thakur has commented. Earlier, Bhagavan has said, Karanam guna sangosya sadhasadyo na jammasu. Even though the Jivatma, the soul, and Paramatma equally reside within the body, but only the Jivatma becomes conditioned by the implication in the gunas. And the Paramatma does not. So someone may raise the question, how is that? So the answer to this question comes in this verse 32. In answer, Bhagavan speaks this verse. That which has no cause and which has no origin is called anadi. When a word is ending in the fifth case, that is the Pancham Vibhakti, ablative case, is used with the word anuttama, then it will read param uttama, of whom no one is higher. In the same way, here the word anadi means the supreme cause. So Paramatma being without beginning means that he is the beginning of everything else, the supreme cause. Now here, nirgunatvat means he is free from the three gunas. But because all the qualities have come from him, hence the Paramatma is distinct from the Jivatma and is avyay, imperishable. That is, his knowledge and his bliss never diminish. Sharirastopi means that although he is situated in the body, he does not accept the characteristics of the body. So Sharirasto means situated in the body, but the word api means although. So although he is situated in the body, he is not affected by any qualities of the body. And nakaroti means that unlike the jiva, he does not become the doer or the enjoyer of karma. So here, Srila Haridas Thakura is very strongly, and you find this very often within his commentary of Gita, cutting the nirvisheshvad, the impersonal conception of Bhagavad-Gita. There are hundreds of translations and commentaries of Bhagavad-Gita which interpret the Bhagavad-Gita to mean Atma and Paramatma are one. But here is very clearly mentioned in chapter 13 earlier, Karnam Guna Sangosya, that the living entity, the Purush within the body, is associating with the gunas and it makes him take birth in lower and higher species. But here now Krishna is explaining about the Paramatma. He's saying that the Paramatma is nirgun, he does not associate with the modes, and he is unchangeable, and he does not do any karma, and is not affected by any karmas. So, now Krishna said, now hear from me how the living entity who is not implicated by material qualities deals with his body. And that the verse we discussed. Yatha sarvagatam shukshmad akasham nopalipite savatravastito dehe tatatma nopalipite. Just as the all-pervading space does not mix with anything, because it's more subtle than all the things which are accommodated within that space. So in the same way, the Atma, who is Brahma-bhuta, who is realized, and has attained that realization in the wake of the Supreme Soul, Parameshwara, that person is unaffected by the qualities or faults of the material body, even though his consciousness is pervading that body. So, the meaning of this verse is clear, but it requires some deliberation, to think about it, to do vichar. It said, Tatsanvam supatam vicharana tho bhakta vimuchandara. First one should listen. After listening, Tatsana, then one should also read and recite yourself carefully. And vichara, then deliberate on the meaning. And after that, then bhakti will appear. So space is very subtle. If there's any dirt, impure thing, or any pure thing even, though they exist in the space, though the space is pervading them, the space is not touched at all by those things. If I throw some mud, the mud will fall from the sky back to the earth. It will not leave a stain. It will not leave a stain in the space. So here it says, no palipyate. Upalep means to smear. In other words, if you touch something which is greasy, the grease will be smeared on you. Upalep, smeared. But here it's saying that if any impure thing passes through the sky, there's no smudge of impurity in the space. It's so fine that it's completely aloof from that. So in the same way, Krishna is saying, one who has tattva jnana, who has realization of Atma, how is he related with the body? Whatever the body is doing, going here, there, anything, the Atma is no palep, unsmeared by any quality related to the physical body. So this is called Chaito Darpana Marjanam. When the chitta, the mirror of the heart, is cleansed by chanting Harinam, then this state of consciousness comes. After that, pure bhakti will appear. First devotee realizes things, but that realization may not be completely steady. So even when some little anartha is there, anyway bhakti is very powerful, it appears and then removes those the last stains in the consciousness. Generally it is said, Brahma bhuta prasanatma na sochati na kangsati samaksarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. That first you have to be completely liberated, and then bhakti, then pure bhakti will appear. But Srila Vishwanath Thakur said, hearing the past of Krishna and Braj Gopis from Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Rasa Leela, this sadhana is so extremely powerful that the bhakti appears first and removes the last impressions of calm. So bhakti is extremely powerful. But if bhakti is appearing, then for sure such level of the detachment and peacefulness, undisturbed by the external world, this symptoms will manifest. Therefore it said, Shanti Ravyatakalakam Virakti Mana Shunyata. When bhakti is appearing, then the first symptom is Shanti. That devotee can tolerate all things with a peaceful mind. And the example is given of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by the son of Shamit Rishi. Oh, you will die in 7 days. He made the curse when Parikshit Maharaj was not there. And the news came to him. And he heard, you will die in 7 days. And Parikshit Maharaj was what? Not disappointed, not disturbed. Oh, I made a plan. Next month I was going somewhere. No, he never thought of anything. He just removed his crown and ornaments and went out onto the bank of Jamuna and sat down there, and all sages came. So this is the first symptom of the appearance of when Bhav is coming, Shanti, the forbearance in the face of all difficulties. We see this was expressed in a very high degree in Srila Haridas Thakura. Was beaten in 22 marketplaces, but just chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And even after being beaten for a long time, he looked at those who were beating him and he said, oh, forgive me that I am inconveniencing you. Your arms must be very tired from all this hard work of beating. They said, Haridas, if you don't die, then we'll be in trouble with the king. He said, oh, I would not like to inconvenience you in that way. You should have told me before. If you had told me early, I would have died early. And then, pure devotee has all yoga siddhi automatically. He withdrew his prana and everything from the body. There was no pulse, no heartbeat, no breathing. Oh, good, he's finally died. Now we can go back and tell that we've completed our mission to the Chankazi. So they brought his body back and they showed to the Chankazi. Chankazi saw he was dead. They said, oh, shall we bury him? Because Muslims, they bury him. I said, no, if you bury him, he may get a good destination. Throw him in the river. Exact opposite of the reality. If you go to someone who will be in the Ganges, then they'll be purified. Haridas Thakur was already pure, but he's thinking, I'll just throw him in the river, because he has no conception of the sacredness of the Ganga. So then they threw the body of Srila Haridas Thakur in the river, and he floated for some time, and then he came back to his senses and climbed out of the river on the other side, without any cuts or scratches or any injuries at all, completely renewed. So many years later, this happened before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world. Many years later, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was manifesting his Bhagavata to the devotees, he said, hey Haridas, you remember that day when the soldiers were beating you? I was so furious, I was angry. I wanted to come there at once with my chakra and kill them all, but I could not. I had no power. Why? Because you were praying for them that they should not suffer on account of this offense. So Haridas Thakur was praying for them while they were beating him. And his love is so strong that even the Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became helpless because the Lord is Prem Adin. This is his most wonderful quality, that he's controlled by love. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you did not feel any pain at that time because, and then Mahaprabhu removed his cloth and turned around. He said, I took all the strokes of the whips on my back. And Mahaprabhu turned around and his back was covered in lashes. He showed this to Haridas Thakura. So, same is there also with Jesus Christ. He was whipped and stabbed and mocked and spat on and crucified. But he was praying to God, oh, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. Ambarish Maharaj. Oh, and also the Avadut Brahman Dattatreya. He tells it, Dattatreya tells the story of a Brahman from Avantipur. And he was living in a village. And he left his village and he traveled here and there. And when he came back, then the people of the village, they despised him. Said sadhus never recognized in his own village. So they threw trash on him, they were spitting on him, they urinated on him even. But he never made any response. Why? Shanti, when bhakti appears, the person is completely detached. In fact, all problems, whatever difficulties come, they take them to be like an ananda. Tomara sevaya dukkha hoyo jato seto paramasuki. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, whatever problems and difficulties come in my life while I am serving you, I accept this as the greatest happiness. Seva sukha dukkha parma sampadana avipta dukkha. Because in the path of devotional service, the material happiness and distress are both equally valuable. Because by tolerating suffering and also tolerating happiness, I'm not used to thinking in terms of tolerating happiness. But to tolerate happiness means to not become attached to it. Not to celebrate. Not to lose one's equilibrium and start jumping up and down. Yes, very good, I am successful. Because these are related to the temporary activities of this world. They will come and they will go by the influence of karma, by the influence of time. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, the happiness and distress, by tolerating and seeing it to be exactly the same as I am engaged in your service, then both are equally valuable because both of them, they destroy gradually the darkness of avidya, ignorance. So, then, Krishna said, Yatha prakasayateka Krishnam lokam ivam ravi ketram ketri tata Krishnam prakashayati bharata. Hey Bharat, Arjun, just as the one sun illuminates the whole universe, in the same way, Paramatma illuminates the entire body with consciousness. So, this is an interesting verse because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Vishwanath Thakur have interpreted it in a different way. They've taken the word Ketri, which means the one who is situated in the field. Srila Vishwanath Thakur explains that this is Paramatma. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur acknowledges that Vishwanath Thakur has said this means Paramatma and said, but it can mean the soul also. So this is true for both. Just as the sun is situated in one place in the sky, but is present everywhere by light. So similarly, the Atma is situated in the heart but present throughout the body by its consciousness, which is extended through the 72,000 nadis. When the prana travels from the heart chakra through 72,000 nadis, then the function of the chitta in Rajagun is carried by the Kriya Shakti throughout the entire body. So this verse refers to both Atma and Paramatma. Both are conscious of the entire body, even though they are situated in one place. So then Krishna said, Keta keta gyayo evam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti mokshang cha yavidiyanti te param. In this way, those who have the eye of spiritual knowledge, who are conversant with the difference between Ketra, the field, Prakriti, and Ketraga, the knower of the field, the Jiva, and also the means of the deliverance for the Jiva from Prakriti, those persons, they can attain the supreme abode. Srila Haridas Thakura said, of the two Ketraga, those who know the field, the Jivatma becomes bound when he enjoys the qualities of the field, and he becomes liberated by the appearance of Tattva Jnana. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, in the beginning, faithful persons should associate with the Bhaktas who are Tattvadarshi. All Bhaktas are not Tattvadarshi. All pure Bhaktas are Tattvadarshi. But everyone wearing a tilak and a kantimala is not Tattvadarshi. So those who have realized the Tattva, Atma Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, one should very faithfully associate with them. And by hearing their very powerful Harikatha in their association, one acquires knowledge of Bhagavad Tattva, of God. Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, and Bhakti Tattva. And then gradually, when that person's identification with the material body is removed, they attain the supreme destination. So, in summary, in this chapter, Sri Krishna has described how all the elements combine together to make this world, but the jiva is distinct. How the jiva, through the senses, associates with three gunas, trying to taste the world, and goes into a darkness. What is that darkness? That he sees, he's in dvandva, duality, seeing differences everywhere, and is oblivious to the presence of God. He is oblivious to the fact that God is within everyone. Everyone is sacred. Everyone is worthy of our honor. And in this way, he becomes lost in all qualities such as lust, anger, greed, and so on. So, Krishna describes the 20 angas of Jnana sadhana by which the devotee who is practicing devotion can come to the platform of pure devotion. Amanitvam adambitvam, always being humble, serving the Guru, continuously engaging in the service of Krishna, being very tolerant in all situations, being detached from the objects of the senses, endeavoring to see the Atma in everyone, and Paramatma being present there and untouched by nature, material nature. Gradually, the mind of that individual does not go down and become contaminated, because he's seeing through the eyes of knowledge given by Guru Krishna, Guru Sadhu and Shastra. And once that devotee, his consciousness becomes free from the contamination of three gunas, then his bhakti is called Nirguna Bhakti. And that is actually the Uttama Bhakti. Srila Rupa Goswami has given the definition of Uttama Bhakti. Ut means above, and Tama means darkness. anya vilashita shunyam jnana kamadhyanavitam anukulena krishnanushilnam bhakti uttama. Here, shilana means a cultivation, both of the body and of sentiments, of the senses, activities of the body, and also of the sentiments, bhavs, which is continuous and unbroken like a stream of honey. Just as honey, when poured from a jar, it comes without any break. It's in a thick stream. So when the chitta vritti, the tendency of the heart and all the senses is flowing in Krishna's service without any interruption, then this is called Anushilanam, Krishna Anushilanam. So this is Swarup Siddha Bhakti. In other words, to be engaged in hearing, chanting and remembering continuously is Swarup Siddha Bhakti. But it will still not be Uttama Bhakti unless the Tatastha Lakshan, the marginal characteristics of Uttama Bhakti are there, which is mentioned in the first line, Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Kamadhyanavitam. Unless one is free from ulterior motives. You can engage in hearing, chanting, remembering, but with ulterior motives. So the activity may be Swarup Siddha Bhakti, but it will not be Uttama Bhakti unless the Tatastha Lakshan is there, to be free from ulterior motives. And Jnana Kamadhyanavitam, and not covered by a faith in Jnana and Karmas, the sadhanas for the attainment of liberation and sadhanas for the attainment of heavenly planets. So, in Bhagavad-Gita, there are 18 chapters, and we've discussed how the middle 6 chapters describe bhakti, and the last 6, beginning with this chapter 13, because from 7 to 12 is only about bhakti, and from 13 to 18 is mainly Jnana Yoga. However, those who are engaging in bhakti and bhakti is beginning to appear, it is essential that they study the 6 chapters describing Jnana Yoga, because Krishna has given them to steady that person's understanding of bhakti tattva. It is quite essential. If it would be neglected, then one's bhakti will never become pure. In the same way that Shukadeva Goswami has described all the pastimes of Krishna in the 10th canto, but then immediately after, in the 11th canto, he describes the tattva jnana in order to strengthen the devotion which has appeared in the hearts of the devotees by hearing pastimes of Krishna. So, in Bhagavad-Gita, the topics have been discussed, and several topics have been discussed, and one will have a clear understanding of Bhagavad-Gita if he can become acquainted with these terms. So you can write them down. The first one is karma. What does the word karma mean? Then vikarma. What does vikarma mean? Then akarma. What does akarma mean? Then kamya karma. Kamya karma. Then nishkam karma. And sakam karma. Then Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma. Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma means the karmas which are performed without any desire but also offered to God. But then what is Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma Yoga? This is the next. Yes. that Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma is not Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma Yoga. So then the terms Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Guni Bhuta Bhakti and Pradani Bhuta Bhakti. And then finally Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti is goes by many names. Kevala Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Para Bhakti, Akinchan Bhakti. These are all Ananya Bhakti, one pointed. These are all names for the same thing, pure devotion. So, and Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, these are the terms. If one can have a clear understanding of the distinction between all these terms, then it may be said that one has understood the outline of Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad-Gita. So your homework is to write down the definitions of all of these terms. And tomorrow morning, in our class, we'll go through each one. Karma, Akarma, Vikarma, Kamya Karma, Nishkam Karma, Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma, Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Shuddha Bhakti, and Guni Bhuta Bhakti and Pradani Bhuta Bhakti. These are all the terms? Did I miss anything?
Last one.
Guni Bhuta Bhakti and Pradani Bhuta Bhakti. So, you can read, meditate and think about these things, and tomorrow we'll go over them in our morning class. That's it. So, now we complete our lecture this morning. In the evening time, please come at 5 o'clock for Kirtan, 5 to 6. Then from 6 until Aarti, we continue our study of the Uddhav Sandesh. How Krishna and why Krishna sent Uddhav to Vrndavan based on the commentaries of our acharyas, including Raghu Vaishnav Toshani, Gopal Champu, Sarata Dashini, Vyad Vaishnav Toshani, and other comments. Gaur Premanand.